admit it. They would have egg all over their faces and take responsibility for the fact that they had killed and maimed and sentenced to death millions of people through this hastily entered into scientific fraud, which is what vaccination is, or do a cover-up. They did a cover-up, of course. They chose a cover-up, and they doubled Edward Jenner's lifelong stipend from 10,000 pounds, I think this was about 1853, to 20,000 pounds, saying, oh, there's nothing wrong here. Look, we've done the right thing through stealth, deceit, fraud, and
But wasn't that just a Malthusian first round of eugenics through Mr. Galton?
No, I believe that, in fact, this was a colossal, stupendous stupidity on the part of the British Parliament, and that they chose to save their own egos and careers rather than back down from the position they had.
Well, look at the 76 swine flu. This always breaks out, the 1918, the 1976, it's always breaking out at military bases.
Oddly enough, where our soldiers are our guinea pigs.
Guess who gets to hold up their arm and unclothe their arm and stand there and stick it out so that somebody will stick a needle in it, and they have no choice.
Same with vaccine A. And I want to point out that the same information that Gary Matsumoto so beautifully brought forward in his Vaccine A, and the subtitle of that book was Why the United States is experimenting on the military and why they won't be the last. He talked about squalene adjuvants. He talked about introducing oils that irritate the immune system so they make more antibodies. That means the expensive part of the vaccine, the antigen, can be in much smaller proportions, so it's more profitable for the company. And then you make more antigens. That means that you have a higher antigen titer in your body. But
so it's that accelerant that triggers the autoimmune response you're saying. Well, the other medical doctors we've had on have said that's the thing that causing a lot of the autism, not even the mercury, is that it causes that brain swelling that then causes brain damage.
Correctly, but there's another part to this. No one, and I say this as a scientist and as a physician, no one has ever proven in any clinical trial whatsoever that high titer, that high level of antibodies is related in any way with immunity to the disease. Ever. So this whole thing is pointless, you understand?
It's quackery. But
quackery.
Okay, doctor and general, from a military perspective, intelligence perspective, and from a medical doctor perspective, you've got all these deaths all over Europe and Asia in swine flu and bird flu trials. High death rates where they inject 100 people and a whole bunch of them drop dead. And we've been putting mainstream news articles on screen. And then the media is very quiet. The government even indicts people who gave the shots, saying they were paid by pharmaceutical companies, but then we can't ever find who they are. And then we've got Baxter involved in the new vaccine. They're involved in, what does this look like to you? And then how are you coming out and saying, look out with this next flu shot that's coming out?
It looks.
Let me answer that first.
Okay, General.
I'll tell you what. It looks like an ambush. You know, if you're in a city or a town and you're going door to door in fighting, you never know where the ambush is going to come from. Is it going to come from a roof, from a window, from a door, from behind a door? You don't know. And this whole thing, Alex, to me, looks exactly like that door-to-door fighting in towns called ambush. Ambush. That's what it is.
But this time the ambush is by our own forces against our own people.
Well, we can see that the whole thing's engineered. We can see it's all hype and the vaccine's deadly and they admit won't even protect you from it. And normally flus mutate into something less harmful or harmless. How are they saying 100% it's going to mutate deadly in the fall? Now, we're not saying that's going to happen. They're saying it. For anybody with a scientific background, doctor, in general, it's 101, but they can't say they know it's going to be deadly. That clearly is a lie. So it means that they know something we don't know. Are they going to release something else?
It's a lie unless they know something that has never been told to the public.
Well, now, I want to avoid giving these idiots too much credit. SARS fizzled. Avian flu fizzled. the pandemic swine flu fizzled, they may or may not be able to get the next generation of this virus, this genetically engineered virus, to do what they want, which is kill lots of us. But it doesn't matter because they've got the vaccine, which is much more direct, much more effective. Now, listen up, folks.
Which is the ambush.
Which is the ambush. If a single person, and by the way, let me reiterate, I was starting to read this before, the first target is children from kindergarten to 12th grade. The second target is pregnant women. The third target is adults between 45 and 65. That's the most productive segment of the workforce. These are the people who are going to receive the vaccines, and there are many of them.
Yeah, just to back you up, we're putting it on screen, Doctor. She's not just saying this. The news is announced. Children first, then the elderly, then the sick. These are the most vulnerable, and they admit.
But the second group is pregnant women. Now, I want to just add one more thing, Alex, because there's so much to say, and time is so short.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
If Gardasil does what I believe Gardasil does, and Cervavax, which is the British equivalent of Gardasil, which is about to be also approved in the United States shortly. If these two vaccines do what I believe, which is render girls infertile, there's no reason to believe, there's no reason to believe that this new vaccine, for which Baxter applied for the patent in 2007, by the way, so this surprise rush to get things on the street, so to speak, is total hype and nonsense because they've been preparing this since 2007. If it does the same thing, and it contains one of the same ingredients, tween, TWEEN 80, which is very similar to polysorbate 80, and both of them injected cause infertility, then what we have is not only death, but an end of whatever race you happen to belong to.
Well, let me stop you. Doctor, my gut from all these hundreds of pieces that the general talks about is sterilization, because that's in the State Department Memorandum 200, that's in the White House czar's internal textbook plan report, and we know with the tetanus shots in Africa, Asia, and India, they got caught in the mid-90s. This is mainstream news for those that don't know. I know you know. Adding a hormone to the tetanus shot to then cause an autoimmune response to that hormone, and then basically sterilize women by abortion, where every time they get pregnant, the baby dies second trimester from that hormone situation.
And by the way, that same system, which was created by the World Health Organization through its task force on female sterilization through inoculation, that same substance is available as, quote, a 1-year birth control shot for women and girls in the United States. Just thought I'd throw that in.
Well, I've seen U.S. programs and TV ads where they tell girls, get your tetanus shot. It's obvious. I mean, Doctor, I want you to keep breaking down the math and the science and the facts and then the key, pens and paper ready, the websites for folks, so people can get involved with Congress saying now, we're not going to quarantine, we're not taking your shots, let us stay in our homes, don't make the Army drag us off. But General, speaking to the military, the police, back in 2002 with the Model States Health Emergency Powers Act, you know they ordered first responders to take it, and the news reported LA Times over 99% said no. So the military and police aren't stupid. They even had bases saying no, even though they were ordering them to. But the firemen, the police, the doctors, Tommy Thompson said no. Health and Human Services had. The basic psychology. This attacks all of us. It's a very tiny eugenicist elite doing this. So we need to get the message out to the enforcers, too. Why would they want to serve this evil? Can you comment to this phenomenon of the very people being killed by this are the very ones that are going to be enforcing it?
Well, a lot of that is simply because once you enter into the military, the answer is yes, sir, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, sir. And everybody does exactly what they're told to do. So if the people at the very, very top know, but the people at the lower levels do not know what's really going on. They're there to take orders. And it's very, very hard to sort of wake yourself up when you're in the middle of this, yes, sir, no, sir, I will do it, sir, kind of environment. So it's very, very difficult to also then go to the internet, go to it's not in the papers. So where do they get their information? They've got to wake up almost all by themselves.
And
a very difficult thing to do.
And the people who are putting out the information, Alex, and there's a small community of us, are attacked by this COINTELPRO nonsense. And then people who want to do the right thing, who want to inform themselves, say, well, I better stay away from him, I better stay away from her, I better stay away from
That's done to destroy our community. The last thing the New World Order would do would be have you guys out putting out nothing but accurate info and warning people. They would have you out saying it wasn't true.